Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation on emerging perspectives for the 21st century. Today's focus is on diversity science. We'll explore new ideas and insights shaping how we understand diversity and inclusion in our modern world. Over the next few slides, I'll guide you through key concepts and recent developments in this important field. Let's get started. Let's take a moment to understand how human behavior is actually shaped by the social environments around us, and equally, how our behaviors can influence those environments in turn. It's a dynamic, two-way relationship that's central to understanding social science. When we talk about behavior and social environment, we're really emphasizing that our actions don't happen in a vacuum. They're influenced by the communities, institutions, and cultural norms we live within. But also, our actions can reinforce or challenge those social structures. This is especially important when we consider persistent societal inequalities. These inequalities, whether in education, healthcare, or public life, continue to impact historically marginalized communities. Addressing these issues requires understanding both how social environments contribute to inequality and how behavioral change can help reduce it. That's why addressing inequalities is a core focus of this presentation. We need to explore the underlying social factors and behavioral patterns that sustain these disparities. And this brings us to the broader imperative for diversity science. It's about recognizing that diversity isn't just a moral or social goal. It's essential for understanding human behavior in all its complexity. Embracing diversity helps us develop more effective, equitable solutions and promotes social justice. So, by integrating insights from diversity science, we can better understand these interconnected dynamics and work toward creating more inclusive, fair social environments. This holistic approach is vital for meaningful progress. Now, let's explore adopting a sociocultural approach to racialization. This involves examining the sociocultural climates that shape how race and ethnicity are understood and experienced. By doing so, we can better appreciate the broader context that influences individual and group identities. Central to this approach is the idea of centering minoritized perspectives. This means giving voice to those who are often marginalized or overlooked in mainstream narratives, helping us understand their experiences and viewpoints more deeply. Another key element is dismantling the notion of dominant group neutrality. It's important to recognize that the idea of neutrality often masks inherent biases and power dynamics. Instead, we should critically examine how these dominant groups influence societal structures and perceptions. According to Plout in 2010, understanding human differences involves studying how and why differences matter within the context of our culturally and historically shaped realities. This perspective forms the foundation of defining diversity science, which is all about exploring how cultural, social, and structural factors influence human diversity and interactions. By adopting these principles, we're not just acknowledging differences, but actively engaging with the complexities of race, culture, and power, which is essential for meaningful progress in diversity and inclusion efforts. Academic institutions are really recognizing the importance of diversity science expertise. For example, we see new faculty positions emerging, like the Assistant Professor of Psychology at Macalester College in 2025. This shows that the field is gaining traction and being valued in academic settings. Diversity science has now earned recognition as a distinct and rigorous field of study. It's not just an add-on. It has its own methodologies, its own journals, and a growing scholarly community. This kind of growth signals that diversity science is becoming a legitimate and established field. It's gaining the same respect and recognition as other scientific disciplines. Overall, this growth and recognition reflect how vital diversity science is becoming in academia and research. It underscores the increasing demand for experts who can contribute to this important area, aligning with our broader theme of the field's expanding influence. These obstacles really have a serious and tangible impact on communities that have been historically marginalized. These are the groups that often rely on this work to achieve more equitable outcomes. When legal challenges or political pressures come into play, it's these communities that end up bearing the brunt of the fallout. For example, recent Supreme Court decisions regarding DEI grants have created a very challenging legal landscape. These rulings threaten the funding for important research and can put institutional programs at risk. It's a significant barrier when the legal environment becomes uncertain or hostile to diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. On top of that, DEI researchers, clinicians, and policymakers are facing a lot of skepticism. Their work is often devalued or dismissed, especially when political administrations push narratives that undermine these efforts. High-profile legal battles add to this pressure, making it even harder for these professionals to do their jobs effectively. All of this underscores a broader challenge. It's a fight for the very principles of diversity and inclusion. The backlash and obstacles aren't just legal or political. They impact real lives and threaten progress. This is a critical part of understanding the ongoing challenges in advancing equity and inclusion across various sectors. On this slide, we see a diverse range of fields within behavioral sciences, including public health, IO psychology, clinical psychology, health psychology, and educational psychology. These areas highlight how psychological science intersects with various aspects of human well-being, work, education, and health. What's particularly exciting about this slide is the emphasis on the international collaboration involved in this special issue. Scholars from countries like the US, China, Turkey, Spain, South Korea, Japan, Ethiopia, Portugal, Germany, and Taiwan have all contributed. This truly reflects the global urgency and importance of diversity science, understanding human behavior across different cultures and contexts. We see that there are 18 articles spanning multiple disciplines, and this broad international contribution underscores how crucial it is to take a worldwide perspective. It reminds us that psychological research isn't just local. It's a global effort to understand and improve human lives in diverse settings. This slide ties back to the overall theme of the presentation, which emphasizes the importance of diversity and cross-cultural understanding in psychological science. It's a powerful reminder that advancing knowledge in these fields requires collaboration across borders, harnessing a variety of perspectives to enrich our understanding of human behavior worldwide. Now, let's turn our attention to some critical issues in research and education. First, we need to critically examine the oppressive structures within institutional review boards, as discussed by Venta and colleagues in 2025. It's important to question how these structures might inadvertently limit diverse perspectives or reinforce biases. That's why advocating for more diverse representation in antimicrobial resistance research is so vital. It helps prevent biased conclusions and ensures our findings are more comprehensive and applicable to different populations. Moving into healthcare, we should also consider the barriers that social justice faculty face when it comes to retention, a topic explored by Case in 2025. Understanding these barriers allows us to develop better support systems for faculty dedicated to social justice, which ultimately enriches our academic and clinical environments. Finally, social justice leadership plays a crucial role in shaping the diversity climate within schools, as highlighted by Sarin and Bosdag in 2025. These leaders influence policies and practices that foster inclusive and equitable educational spaces. All these points tie back to our overall theme, emphasizing the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion across research, healthcare, and education. By applying these insights in real-world settings, we can make meaningful progress toward more just and effective systems. Now, let's talk about making assumptions based on skewed knowledge, which is a critical issue in advancing global equity in science. When we talk about targeting research design, reporting, and evaluation, the goal is to ensure these processes are inclusive and truly representative. One key concept here is masking. It's about being aware of and challenging what we might call questionable generalizability practices. These are the tendencies to assume that findings from narrow, often non-diverse populations, can be applied universally. This is a bold call to action. We need to embed diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, right into the core practices of open science. That means from the initial design of studies all the way through to how results are disseminated. The overarching message here is that we are moving towards inclusive open science, guided by what we call the Global Science Manifesto. It's about redefining how we approach research so that it truly reflects and serves the diversity of the global community. This is essential if we want to make science more equitable and impactful for everyone. Scholars are now advocating for what they call a moonshot-level new agenda for equity. What this really means is that we should treat the research process itself as being just as important as the results we produce. Because, if we think about it, the way we conduct research can either reinforce or challenge existing inequalities. Historically, the scientific enterprise has not always been a force for good in this regard. In fact, it has often supported gender, identity, and racial inequities, which has led to discrimination, harm, and a research ecosystem that is deeply constrained. This slide highlights that the system we rely on is actually failing its core mission. It's a suboptimal system, one that doesn't serve everyone equally and, in many cases, perpetuates injustice. And the toll of inequality within this system is significant. It limits innovation, distorts findings, and ultimately harms the very progress we're striving for. Recognizing these issues is crucial as we work toward a more just and effective research environment that truly reflects and serves all members of society. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize that scientific communities enriched by diverse social and cognitive perspectives truly produce more robust and generalizable knowledge. This kind of diversity leads to breakthroughs that can have a meaningful impact on the world. Now, achieving this kind of epistemic advantage, this deeper, more comprehensive understanding, requires more than isolated efforts. It demands a coordinated, systemic approach. Overcoming long-standing barriers means creating a structure that enables everyone to participate fully and equitably in science. Think of this as a systems approach. Just like in nature, fostering diversity and representation mirrors how ecosystems adapt and thrive. This adaptability is the foundation of resilience, creativity, and innovation, those breakthrough moments we all strive for. Ultimately, nature itself offers a blueprint for how our scientific future can be more inclusive and diverse. The message is clear. The future of science is diverse, and embracing that diversity is essential for progress and discovery.